Today we are making something we have never made before. I've never made this. This is something I've had these for a while, but I haven't had the courage to make them. So I decided this week. Last week's numbers weren't the greatest, so we decided to do some new fun and different things. This is typically a breakfast, and I've seen where they have it in Egypt, Lebanon, the Sudan, basically all that part of Western Asia they all have little differences, and there's several ways to spell it, but I believe it's called Ful Medames or Ful Medames, or it's just called Ful, from what I understand. So, hi Ella, good to see ya. So this is a Western Asian dish. It is one of the national dishes of Egypt, and we're going to make it right now. So it's a delicious sounding breakfast if you happen to like beans and chickpeas and things like that. So we are going to do this right now, and we're going to make the sides to go with it. And then we are also going to make, it's often served with pita bread, which obviously I can't eat. So we're going to try making a different kind. We've made gluten-free crepes before, and they were okay, but these are actually a keto type of crepe, so they don't have any flour in them at all. So I think that's going to be interesting to try. So we're going to do that. First thing we're going to do, well, that's lovely that you have a new cat. Oh, well, 6-month-old cats are quite crazy. So kind of like 6-month-old dogs. They're all 6-month-old children. They're all like that. It's all a little crazy. So this is made with fava beans, which I tried to grow but didn't go very well. I'm going to try another batch for the fall. For those who don't know, there's a couple of different kinds. These are the larger ones. They're kind of a pink color. And then the ones I grew, I only had one pod that came to fruition, and they are smaller and darker. So that's a different kind of fava bean. But like I said, I'm gonna try to grow some more of those for the fall. And who knows what we'll make with those. We can make something fun and different with those as well. So I want to make sure I'm doing this all correctly. So we are supposed to rinse and drain these. So we're going to do that first. I've currently got some eggs also that are boiling, because that's one of the things they suggest that you serve them with. And I would guess if it only calls for cumin and salt and lemon. But I would imagine, I know a lot of people love za'atar, and I would imagine if you are a za'atar lover, that's something you could put on this. From what I gather from watching this and looking at all the recipes, yes, Ella, my whole family, we are big World Cup fans. I was a Scotland fan. Obviously the US. I love the US because I'm here. But I was cheering for Scotland for a while, and then I was cheering for Norway, and now I really don't care. And I don't say that in a bad way. I would just like to see good games from here on out. So I have no like or dislike for any of the teams that are left. If England wins, I can be happy. If Argentina wins, I can be happy. If Spain wins, or who am I missing? Oh, France. Hey, Ruby. So if any of those teams win, I'm good. I just want to I'm really hoping that they're good games and they're clean games, and I do not like the flopping. So I do have a problem with that. So we've rinsed the beans. And we're going to put those in a saucepan. So what we're making today, Ruby, it's called Ful Medames or Ful Medames. I don't really know. But it is a combination of fava beans and chickpeas. So we have opened them and rinsed them. It's a lot of beans. If my family doesn't like this, I'm going to be eating beans for days. Okay. And then we are going to add... it doesn't say that, but we're going to need 1.5 cups of cold water. No big deal. We'll get that real quick. Because right now that's what IT guy is doing. Just put it there and let it go ahead and... Oh, I know what you're doing. Never mind. Sorry. Ignore me. He's pretty good at that. You know, my kid, he's practiced at it. So, just need 1/2 cup. He's rinsing the eggs for me right now. So just once the water's cold, you can just leave them in there. So we got 1.5 cups of water there. And then we are going to add to that a teaspoon of cumin. You know what? Before I lost 35 pounds last year, I could not eat cumin. It gave me heartburn. Now that I've lost the weight, not that I don't still have a long way to go before anybody decides to comment. I know, I'm aware. But I know my regular good people would never do that. But just in case anybody wants to get something started. So we add a teaspoon of cumin and about half a teaspoon of salt. I used a little less than that. And then we're going to put that on about a medium heat. That's really all to get started, to be honest. So easy peasy, right? And I was just saying, Ruby, that if you like za'atar, I know a lot of people love it. And this dish is a breakfast dish in Western Asia. So like it's one of the national dishes of Egypt. They eat it in Lebanon. They eat it in the Sudan. And I believe that whole region, they might have a different name for it, but they all seem to have a recipe for it. So while that's getting heated up, there's a sauce that you make, and so we're gonna make that sauce. Oh, there it is. All right, first thing I need is 1/2 cup of olive oil. So we're gonna do that. You know what? This is a good cooking oil, but this is really going to be, I think, a sauce to put on top. So I'm going to get out the really good olive oil. So, doing well, Cavish. Welcome in. Oh, I didn't write it today. I forgot. So we are making, the way my recipe is printed, is Ful Medames. We're going to call them keto because they're not really gluten-free. Although they are gluten-free, that's not what they're listed as. We're going to make, because this, goodness gracious, come on. It's suggested to serve this with pita bread. And because I'm gluten-free, I can't eat them. This is a different, Ruby, I don't know if you were here the last time I made crepes, and they were okay, or crepes, whatever you want to call them. They were okay, not great. So we're gonna try a different recipe and see how they go. So this needs 1/2 cup of olive oil. Dang, I'm gonna need more olive oil. We've used a lot of olive oil lately, haven't we? So we've got that. And then it says 1/4 cup of lemon juice. Got my lemon here. I don't know if you know this, but if you roll a lemon, and I've tried it, you get so much more juice out of it if you roll it first. Two things I've learned about juice, because my mom never used fresh lemons. So, a couple things I've learned. One, roll that before you do it. Two, these things, if you can do it, and I'm not going to be able to do it, I don't think this one might be too big. But if you put it in this way instead of this way, you'll get more juice. Crazy, I know, but it's true. So, this one's a really juicy lemon though, so we should be good anyway. Oh, oops. So busy watching the side of it, I missed the bottom. And that's the thing about live cooking. When we make little silly things happen like that. All right, that's about right. I'm not going to do another whole half a lemon just for that. Get that last little bit. I'll just try to give this another squeeze. And I might go ahead, now that it's been squeezed, I might flip it over. Get everything we can out of it. Now it'll do it. There we go. And see, now watch. I've turned it around. So, hi, Joan. If you look at that, when I turned it over, look how much more juice is coming out. Isn't that crazy? So anyway, the things we learn. That's why we share, so that we can help each other out. I'll pull this guy back out. Probably should have juiced or zested it first, but some days you don't remember. And get all the seeds out. And we'll toss this in the sink. All right. Rinse the hands. So now we've got our half cup of olive oil. We've got our quarter cup of lemon juice. We need about a half a cup of parsley. You know what I just learned about parsley? And I didn't realize. Parsley is really good if you've got like swelling in your legs. It's really good to help with that. You can drink like a parsley tea, or that's part of the thing we kind of forget, at least in the United States. It might be different in other countries, but we've forgotten the medicinal uses of a lot of herbs. And parsley is good for digestion. Parsley is good for your breath. Parsley is good for helping with the water. Like I said, if you've got legs that swell, they tell you to drink a parsley tea, and you are supposed to use fresh. Dried parsley will give you the flavor of parsley. The actual parsley that's live is really much better for you. Now, some herbs are fine either way, but this parsley, I'm kind of looking forward to this. The other thing is I plan to, if any of you are gardeners, I don't know about you, but I'm planning to plant some herbs here in the next little bit, because herbs do really well in the fall. Something else I never knew is, because my father never did it. I don't know if that was information was lost to him or what, but you can have a very robust garden in the fall. The same stuff you plant early spring inside, you can plant in the summer inside, and you can have a really robust fall garden. Considering what's going on with the parasite here in the US, growing your own lettuce might become a thing. I just bought salad, pre-made salad, and I'm like almost afraid to eat it because Ohio has had a lot of the parasite outbreaks. So I'm going to tell an American joke here, because the funny part is that Taco Bell actually was one of the first to pull. They're not serving lettuce in huge parts of Ohio and Michigan and it's now moved into West Virginia, so and North Carolina. This national dishes of Egypt, and it's also popular, I know, in Lebanon and the Sudan, and I think it goes as far as Syria, like that whole area. Sorry, I just saw something. It was, I don't know if it was a dog or if it was a rabbit, or it looked darker than a rabbit. So we have a lot of wildlife around here. But so I understand, Ruby. Most days I don't remember either. So where is our girl Christy, man? She wasn't here last week, and she's not here today. I'm concerned. So let's see here. We got 4 garlic cloves. We're going to add to that. My kind of dish. 4 garlic cloves. How awesome is that? Got a couple spots on these, so we will, and I'm going to rough chop these. I will use my blender on this, so I'm not going to worry about it being too chopped up. We'll deal with that in a minute. So, by the way, for anybody who is new here, if you see me reach off, there's a bag there. There's a little small garbage bag that I use when I cook because I don't want to walk off camera. So, I can smell that cumin. Smells a little like chili because I put cumin in my chili powder, or in my, I call it a taco seasoning mix, but then I put it in my chili too. So here's a fun fact. I was looking at recipes because one of the things that I saw for, if you want to lose weight and get your cholesterol numbers back, it says to, which I find really interesting. I don't know if this one's wacko or not, but it says to prioritize lean protein and prioritize fiber. And if you do those 2 things, and there's a way to calculate how much of each thing you need, you can pretty much eat what you want if you do those 2 things. And like for me, it's over 100 grams of protein a day and over 30 grams of fiber. And I'm telling you, if you work to get that kind of fiber and that kind of protein in your body, you're really not hungry. So anyway, so cabbage, that's what we're doing. We're having the Ful Medames, and then I'm going to make, I can't eat pita, so we're going to make a version of what they call keto tortilla. So we'll see how that goes. So, are our dogs outside, IT guy? If they are, we need to get them in because there's some kind of fracas going on outside. Sorry, I can hear my neighbor's dogs. I don't know if my dogs are out there. I think they might be. So, this calls for a tablespoon of jalapenos. That is not happening. Our neighbor's out front. See if you can figure out what's going on. Could be my dogs getting out of the yard. So I don't care if you're in your pajama pants. Just go outside. This is what happens when you're on live sometimes. There it is. Okay. Oh, shoot. The back door must have gotten opened. Daggone it. Yep, she's calling for my dogs. Hopefully, I can stay on here and it's not going to be a problem. Oh, there she comes. There's one of them. Now, where's the other one? I'll come to my neighbor. He adores her. So, this just says to combine them. I'm combining them my own way. I really don't want it to be mayonnaise texture, but well, I bake for my neighbor, but I'm going to owe her big time for this one. So I'll make her something special. She lives alone, doesn't bake for herself. So I will bake sometimes and send stuff to her. She gets a lot of, like when I make soups and stuff, she gets a lot of those too, because my family's not huge on soup. So I'm going to need this again. So I definitely want to make sure it's clean and dried. Probably one of my dogs being goofy. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so that is our sauce. Oh, that's good. So, okay, so there's our sauce. Our beans are burbling away. They're just about done, I think. Stinkers. Yes. You know what? I've heard there are certain cultures where they will never wish you bad luck. They will wish you bad neighbors. And when we moved here, we moved in on June or July 1st. So we are here 24 years this year. And when we first moved in, there were, and I love teenagers, okay? I'm going to preface that with I adore teenagers. And when we moved here, there were some teenagers up at the corner who were just awful. They were not nice people. They were not nice humans. And the night before Easter, we were here, and the I live 4 houses from the corner. Okay, there's mine, my next door neighbor, one other, and then one at the corner. And so this was catty corner from our corner house, and they don't live there anymore. But they were playing their music and had the bass up so loud, my house was shaking. I live 4 houses away. So I called the police because it was after the non-emergency number, but I called the police and I said, is there a noise ordinance in this city? Because we hadn't lived here a year yet. Never had reason to ask, right? So, welcome. Oh, Philadelphia, you guys get the All-Star game this year, which I think is highly appropriate for you guys to have the All-Star game on our 250th birthday. But anyway, so I'm going to grab a paper towel here real quick so I don't get shells on anything. But anyway, I called the non-emergency number. I didn't call 911. I called the police, a non-emergency number, and I said, is there a noise ordinance? And they're like, yes, 11 o'clock. And it was like 11:30. I said, okay. I said, I have small children. They were at the time 2, 5, and 8. I said, I have small children, and our neighbors that live at the corner are playing their music so loud, it's literally vibrating my entire house. And they asked me what my address was, and when I told them, they're like, oh. And they said, is this at the corner of my street and another street? And I said, yes. They're like, we'll be right over. It's like, obviously, they know this address. And about 10 minutes later, it stopped. So thank goodness for that. But anyway, so yeah, that was our introduction. And we have had so many good people move into this neighborhood that now it's gotten to the point when a bad neighbor moves in, like they don't stay long because nobody will join them in being a jerk. And that is so nice. I mean, we even talk about it. It's like we don't want our lovely little, we're not really a cul-de-sac, but we might as well be. We're the dead end of a street. It's square instead of round. But We're like, yeah, leave our little cul-de-sac alone. We love our little space. So, okay. I am going to now get out my masher because the beans are ready. And what the directions say is to mash them, but not leave some in there, kind of thing. So we're not going to mash them completely. We're just going to mash them so it thickens up. So that's our next thing. The back gate was open. That's me. That was my fault. Daggone it. Oh, darn it. I was in my garden this morning. They must have figured, I must have not put the, our gate has one of those things where you put it down in a hole. So, oh my goodness. Poor puppies. It's hot outside and they're black. So that's not good. I'm so sorry, pups. That's my fault. Oh. The big one usually just comes up on she actually has been known to come up on the porch. And she just barks till somebody lets her in. But the little one, he runs around like a maniac. So, I can't believe nobody texted me though. That's weird. So, or knocked on the door. They often do that when they, so anyway. But that was why my neighbor was chasing them, obviously. So, goodness gracious. Doggone it. Why don't you, hopefully they'll behave themselves. I'm going to turn this off for just a minute because while this is hot, I want to make the crepes to go with it. I guess I could have used a smaller bowl. But anyway, so this is this. And I'm going to put the pan over here. I'll bring the spoon back over here for when we need it. And then use this guy. I'm going to cover this so it stays warm. I'm going to put it to the side here. Okay, sorry about the little detour. So, we do have a nice community, Joan. I love them so much. They're such good people. Okay, so we've got our sauce. We've got our eggs. I already have some pre-cut up cucumbers, which can be served with it. And I'm going to cut up this tomato, and then we're going to make crepes real quick. So they shouldn't take long. I'm going to go ahead and get I know this is still hot, so it's going to make it warm, but not hot. What have I missed? Anything? Okay. Ooh. So, but yeah, we do. We have a lovely little community, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for that. But chop up some tomatoes. Not going to use this whole thing for now. Like I said, I don't know if my family's going to like this or not. I think I'm going to love it. But if they don't, no big deal. I've got either breakfast or lunch for the next couple of days. That'll be fine with me. And then they will forage for dinner. So, you know, it's that season. Of delicious tomatoes. This was my haul this morning of, whoops, not the grapes. Yeah, there's a couple more, but some of my orange tomatoes are coming in. None of my big ones are growing like they usually do, which is weird. So I put some new things in the garden, and as I said to someone, I did not anticipate how the flowers were going to take over my garden. I should have planted a lot less of them, and I should have really looked a lot more carefully as to how tall they were going to get. So, but live and learn. That's gardening's kind of like that. I'm going to clean out a front part of my yard and see if maybe, because most herbs don't need a lot of sun. So I'm going to see if I can grow some herbs in a part of my yard that usually gets weeds because nothing else grows there. So I'm going to try to start a bit of an herb garden there, or something that will, like I said, will grow well in, you be quiet, that will grow well in shade, because it never gets full sun over in that corner. As a matter of fact, I have 2 azalea bushes in my front yard. One is taller than I am, and one, I'm not kidding, is only about this big around because it's on that side of the garden. And my house, that's the east side of my house right there. So, and that west side corner doesn't really get any sun. So it may or may not work. We'll see. We've tried everything else. If not, we may have a rock garden in there before it's all over. Because the older I get, the less I want to do yard work. So we're going to toss a little bit of parsley on top of here. And we're going to put some tomatoes on top of there. And then we'll wash our hand again. Then I can clear all that away to make the crepes. Or crepes, or whatever you want to call them. All right. Eat that one. And then wash my hand off. Wash the board off. I'll clean all this up when we're done. Okay. This I'll add at the end. So, next up, we're going to make these crepes. This one I had to go looking for an ingredient. Could not find it locally, had to order it online. Oh well. Guess I'll be mopping up the floor tonight. Wash the hands. Somebody's bound to have a fit because I picked it up off the floor. So, anyway. Oh, for sure. I love the grape and cherry tomatoes too. They're my favorite. I mean, I like tomatoes in general, which is funny because I have one child who absolutely detests tomatoes. Did it go in? It did. All right. Here's another little trick. Get your finger wet. Now I gotta find it. It sticks better to your finger when it's wet. Now you know. All right. That's just a bubble. Let's see if we can do this one without getting the shell in there. This is why when I use a lot of eggs, I usually put them in a different container and pour them into the larger container. You'll see me do that a lot, and that is exactly why. So that I don't have to fish them out of a big group of eggs. So anyway, we need, for this one, we need 3 eggs. We need a half a cup of butter powder. That's a new one on me. I was like, alrighty then, we'll give this a try. But this is easy for me to say. These are keto friendly, but also happen to be gluten-free. So again, the one nice thing about keto, I'm not going to go full keto. It's just, everyone I know who's done it, they can't sustain it. They just can't. So I know one person who's done it, and he's obsessive anyway. Like, this was a guy that had a kidney stone and still worked out for 30 minutes. And I'm like, you had a kidney stone, man. I'm not impressed by that. That you're still working out when you should be, because he had a streak going of over 1,000 days of working out. So anyway, but the thing is, it smells like butter, and had a little hole in it in the front. I don't know if you can see that little dot there, but I was like, okay, well, I'm going to taste it. And it was weird because it doesn't taste like butter at first, but then all of a sudden, like, after you've swallowed it, you're like, oh, there's the butter taste. It's kind of odd that way. So, but it's like flour, so you got to be really careful. It's very powdery, so I don't want to make a mess with it. So we're going to put that there. And then we need 2 tablespoons of warm water. So I'll let that water, and that says a pinch of salt. So we'll put a pinch of salt in there. Half a pinch. Pinch is subjective, you know what I mean? So that's warm. 2 tablespoons. Close. Yep, that's 2 tablespoons right there. Put that in. That's good to go because it was just water. More trash. And then, all right, then we blend. So back to our, where'd I put that? There it is. Okay. If you ever want to feel better about yourself as a cook, just hang around with me. Yes, butter powder. No kidding, Joan. I swear, I swear to you, I did not know this existed. And there's like 4 or 5 different kinds. I was shocked. But like I said, I think that's the result of keto, to be honest. I'm going to turn this back on while we're mixing this up so we can get these made. So it's supposed to be a really thin batter, which it is. A fair amount of butter powder on there. I don't want to lose that. Okay. I think we're good. I've thought that before, though. We're about to find out if this works. So, okay. Gonna sit that in some water there. It's warm. I don't know how hot. Oh, low and slow. So, let's see, we got about 3 minutes. It says 3 to 4 minutes per side. So we want it just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. That might be even a little too thick, but we'll see. So we'll let that go for a few minutes. While that's cooking, I'm going to go ahead and grab a plate and we'll start plating things up, right? Yeah, I know. Who knew? You know, the thing is with keto, there's so much play in it because some people don't do full keto. Like I said, the guy I know that stuck to it the longest, for him, it was like, I don't know, he lives on meat and steak, like mostly steak. So I'm like, you know, you do you, boo, but it just seems a little excessive. Now, I like my hard-boiled eggs, and this is how I like them to be a little jammy since I'm going to eat them today. That's how I like them. If you want them more cooked than that, cook them more than that. I 100% do it the way you like it. I will tell you this, I will say this 1,000 times probably. So, and then we're going to do some of these guys. Some of the little Persian cucumbers. Kind of seems appropriate, doesn't it? Since it's kind of a Persian type dish. Did I actually get the right temperature? Maybe. We'll see. Uh-oh. You know what I forgot? You guys. Oh, man. I forgot to put some oil in the bottom. Drat. We may have to switch pans. Because I may have made a mess out of this. And it looks so good. Darn it. Oh well. Let's see. We got about another 30 seconds for it to be 3 minutes. Well, I'm slightly annoyed with myself. Oh well. These things happen. Okay, while that's doing its thing, I'm going to unplug this, get myself ready so I can sit down and taste. So, like I said, this was something I had never heard of. I've never had it before. I don't know if it's authentic or not, but this was, like I said, the recipe said it was a national dish of Egypt and that it is typically a breakfast food, which makes me very happy because I am a savory versus a sweet breakfast food person anyway. So that made me very happy. And for those who are going to stick around for the rest of the week, I hope that will be a lot of you. But, oh dear. Yeah, this is a mess. Because I didn't put anything in the bottom of it. So, this might take a little work. So anyway, tomorrow we are making French onion chicken. I'm looking forward to that one. And then let's see, I'm trying to think what else. Wednesday where my husband and I discovered cabbage steaks a long time ago, and we love them. Well, this also happens to be burger week, so we are going to make like a cabbage steak burger kind of thing. All right, this one's a mess. Terrible. We don't like it. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Look at that mess. Yeah, I'm all about the savory breakfast, you know. I used to love weekends because my dad always made bacon and eggs. And I have yet, I mean, my dad's been gone. It'll be 30 years next March. And I have yet to meet someone who can make an over medium egg as well as my dad could. All right, so I'm going to do this over the sink so that I can put all the crumbs in the sink. Ugh. Way to go, Karen. Yeah, goober. Okay. I used to talk really badly to myself. I don't do that anymore. I can say that kind of stuff just because I'm being silly, but all right, let's take, we could use a little butter. We're going to use, well, we're finding out if it's edible. Okay. This time we're going to put a little oil in like we're supposed to. Get it all over the bottom of the pan. Okay, I have a question for people. Did anybody watch The West Wing when it was on? No spoilers, but I need to know. Did anybody watch The West Wing? Okay, a little bit. Well, there we go. Now we got a little sass on it. Might be too hot now, but we'll see. Yeah, I need a little more. My husband and I are watching that. We didn't watch originally, so we're watching it now. It's been very interesting. We were having discussions about a lot of different things, which we're not going to go into here because I don't want to get into politics, but I just wondered if anybody had watched it. And I can see how that could be, Ruby, that you just couldn't stay with it because it does kind of jump around. Okay, and like a regular crepe, it doesn't have a lot of flavor. So that should make it a good vehicle for this. I just realized too that these were cut this way. When I saw the serving preparation, so you could put everything, a little bit of everything in there. Let's see, is that going to come up easier? Please come up easier. You know me, it takes me 2 or 3 times to kind of get the feel of it, if you will. Well, that's not too bad. Oh, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Doesn't it? I'm like a goober. Okay. Oh, that turned out nicely. Okay. That's kind of what it looks like, what they were serving with it, which was kind of cool. So I'm just going to add a little more oil. So I know I shouldn't have brought it up. So, but you know, that one's going to be a little too thick. All right, we'll see how it goes. But anyway, so now my favorite show was always Bones. That was the one I liked the most, and I have seen that entire series probably 3 times. It is weirdly a comfort show for me. I don't know why, but it is. Which is funny because that's one of my comfort shows. The other one is called The Midwife. I don't know if you've seen that one. That is a PBS. It's BBC, I think. It's a British show, and it's about East London. And it is just, if you want something life affirming, that's the kind of show you want to watch. It's called The Midwife. It is such a lovely show. I just really enjoy it. Ta-da! Over it goes. So, but yeah, Bones, other than the Christopher Pallant section, I hated that section. I was just mad because when we saw it originally, we couldn't binge it. So I was like, no closure. It was like 3 seasons, you had no closure. I'm like, this is not fun. Yeah, this one turned out much better. So maybe the thicker one is, I know they're supposed to be thin as can be, but thicker might be better in this, for me in particular. But so that one came out pretty well. I'm gonna make one more and then we'll just call it quits. Oil. So I love that show. I do. Watched some of Rizzoli and Isles. It got weird, but we watched NCIS for years. That was another one we always loved. Obviously, I like crime dramas. Now, you know what? We're just going to make those few. So that can go in there. Swirl this around. Like I said, we're going to make them just a little thicker than we're supposed to. And then we'll sit down and we're going to give this stuff a try. I'm really curious. I am going to go get some pepper. I'll be right back. Because I don't know about you, but I like salt and pepper on my eggs. So, yes, I think it's a great show. Just so life affirming in most of the ways. Even when people pass on the show, it's been life affirming. You're like, how in the world can you make this feel like such a happy thing? But they do. So, not every passing is positive, but there are many that are, and it's just a lovely way, the way they look at things. So we're going to turn that off. Now we're cooking. All right, how do we look? I've also just started a new audiobook. I think it's called Mrs. Endicott's Wonderful Adventure. Reading it for a book club. I've got to get it done, or listening to it for a book club, and I have to get it done by next Monday. So wish me luck on that, because it's a long one. But I'm really enjoying it. Started it today while I was out on my walk. Okay, so here we are. Western Asian breakfast. Savory. We've got our Ful Medames. Oh, also, I saw several of them. We'll take this. And we'll just make a little drizzle. I'm telling you, Mediterranean countries, they do love their olive oil. Hi, Donna. Oh, Arizona, love. That's hot there, isn't it? Super hot. You're the ones that make it funny when we're like, when we say it's not the heat, it's the humidity here. But I was there for 2 weeks during the, I'm just going to put a little bit of this on. Again, I don't know if my family's going to like it. But when you guys had your 100 days of 100 plus, I was out there for 2 weeks of that. My husband was out there for most of it, with a couple trips home. But so they would use a pita. They would open it up and put it on the inside, or they would fold it like this. I went deep into this, you guys. It was fun learning about this wonderful dish. And then you kind of eat it like a taco. And then you've got these sides to go with it. So Catherine, I have a sister-in-law who's addicted to Criminal Minds. She's watched all different variations of it. And I'm with you. That one was so disturbing sometimes. I just stopped watching it, actually. Okay, that was really hot, more than anything. But dang, y'all, that flavor. That bright, acidic lemon with those really rich beans. And then you've got the freshness of the tomato. Wow. That's really, really good. And I can also tell you, just from the few bites I just ate, this is going to be really filling. Like, I would think if you ate this for breakfast, you would probably want to skip lunch. That's so good. Oh, yeah. And then the egg with that. Okay. So, yum. And again, you could always use pita if you're making it for yourself. Um, Ah, the big rains. Okay, that's wild. When you guys get rain, it's wild. We got there. We flew in right after that, and I've been to Arizona before, but I'd never been when it had rained like that. That was some of the craziest stuff I ever saw. Um, Let me see. I took some notes on this, which I thought were really interesting. So let's see if I've got it. Okay, so here's what I printed out. So yeah, they put cumin, garlic, lemon juice, olive oil, traditionally eaten for breakfast with warm pita. Um, Sometimes they will add like a salted beef to it, and so these are the different things that can be accompanied by. Is sometimes they'll add vegetable oil to it, some corn oil, some butter, clarified butter, buffalo milk, a bechamel sauce, cured beef, which they call basturma, fried or boiled eggs, tomato sauce, garlic sauce, tahini, fresh lemon juice, chili peppers. Like I said, I didn't add the jalapenos because I'm a big baby about spice. Um, but they say it was exported from Egypt to other parts of the Arab world, including Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, Israel, Palestine, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Bahrain, Somalia, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Eritrea, or is it Eritrea? I can't remember. Sorry. Don't want to offend, but South Sudan, Sudan, Morocco, and Libya. So some places, like in Syria, they put it in a large copper pot that simmers all night, so it's ready in the morning. And then they add tahini and olive oil with red pepper paste, meaning Aleppo pepper paste. Um, oh wow, it's almost that hot here in Ohio. So anyway, in Jordan, they make it like a dip with tahini and garlic and tomato. So I mean, a lot of them are the same. Then they add the cumin, the olive oil, and then they add green peppers. So in Jerusalem, it's often served on top of hummus. Let's see. Also, a lot of I thought this was really interesting. A lot of Christian communities in Arab countries eat this for Lent. This is one of their Lenten meals. Um, and then in Somalia, it's served with different kinds of breads. They've also got different spices that they put in depending on where they are. Like in Somalia, it says they have a spice mixture. I'm not even going to try to pronounce what the spice mixture is called, but it's got cumin, coriander, sage, peppercorn, fenugreek, turmeric, ginger, cardamom, cloves, nutmeg, and saffron. So I'm sure that's quite flavorful. Um, in Morocco, it's known as Bissara, and they make it with fava beans and split green peas. And they're boiled with garlic and served with cumin and seasonings. And in the north part of the country, I don't think of Morocco as being cold. Does anyone else? I guess if you live in that part of the world, maybe you do. But apparently, northern Morocco is cold in the winter months. So there you go. Um, in Ethiopia and Eritrea, or I think it's Eritrea, it's one of the few dishes not eaten with injera. But it's served with a wheat flour bread. So go figure. Um, they do a lot of it's a communal dish very much in those areas, and they'll have communal kitchens where they make those. And then Malta, again, they use it, during Lent and especially on Good Friday. It's traveled as far as Malaysia. So basically halfway around the world, which I think is, um, oh, there you go. Okay, that's what I thought, Joan. Um, and Singapore, which incorporates ghee in place of the oil, and they use minced meat. They use kidney beans and baked beans are also added to give the dish more body. So really interesting. I mean, it is one of those dishes that's eaten like all over that part of the world, that side of the world, and it's basically unknown here, which I think is really interesting. So anyway, trying to think is if there was anything else that was very interesting. Some serve it with a salad. Some use that god awful thing they call coriander and we call cilantro. Look, if you like it, fine. I don't. So, and then also they call them meze sides, but some use pickles or olives or crumbled feta, labna, halloumi, or falafel. So, like I said, I kind of went down this rabbit hole. I have like 4 pages of typed notes. These aren't even handwritten notes; they're typed notes because it was such an interesting dish, and it sounds like it's kind of an important dish around the world. And I'm really glad I tried it, and it's delicious, and I'm gonna really enjoy it. And then I know they all sound good to me, so. Um, So Donna, I'm guessing if you say your roots, you're probably part native then, and I totally understand that. I am half German and half English, and I eat a lot of German food. I like a lot of English food, and so yeah, we have that. And I was raised in a German town, so we have the largest um, Oktoberfest outside of Germany, and I believe we actually have the second largest attended Oktoberfest in the world. Ours is about 3 days. Obviously, we're not going to catch up to somewhere like Munich because there's less for like 2 weeks. But but yeah, we've got a lot of Germans here. As a matter of fact, we were apparently one of those cities that was watched very closely during World War II. But anyway, ooh, okay. I have an aunt who was Creole and Cajun. Oh, God, her mama cook. Now my aunt didn't cook much, but oh, her mother never had a bad thing at that house. Anyway, so there you go. There you have it. I'm probably gonna try to put this together because I made it a little different than the recipe, but um, might put this on the website. And if I do, I will definitely put the link in the description. And so be back here tomorrow. And because tomorrow we're going north of Egypt and we're going to France. We're gonna do French onion chicken and we're gonna add some twist to it like we always do. Again, we're trying to maximize our fiber, so we'll be doing that along with the delicious chicken. So thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for the banter. Thanks for the conversation. And thanks for your patience when the dogs are out running the neighborhood. So I appreciate you guys. You're so awesome. I am always just so grateful when you're here. So I wish you guys a wonderful rest of your day. Remember to eat well, to be well, and I love you guys. See you tomorrow. Same time, 3:30 Eastern time.